Good afternoon. It's another World Cup match day in the city.
Iraq and Senegal are set to square off at Toronto Stadium this afternoon. Our Beth McDonnell joins us live now from near Stanley Park, where Iraq supporters are set to march towards the stadium. Looks like a great crowd there this hour, Beth.
A great crowd and the excitement is building. How is everybody feeling? There you go. It has been 40 years since Iraq played in the World Cup, and this means so much to fans. Gabriel came all the way from Texas. How are you feeling? What do you make of the atmosphere?
Great.
Okay, what are you hoping for today?
For Iraq to win.
Of course, yeah! Michelle, Nathan, people have been down here on King Street at Stanley Park since 10:30 this morning. Bring me through the morning routine and what's been going on.
Oh, we woke up very excited and went down to the train station. Everyone was chanting. It was a lovely experience.
Okay, tell me about these chants. I can't understand all of them, but they sound amazing.
All patriotic chants representing our culture, our heritage, and just uniting together.
Yeah, I was told one is welcome the Iraqi people.
Iraq! And then we have Baruch, Bidem, Nifdig, Ya Iraq! Baruch, Bidem, Nifdig, Ya Iraq!
So great, we have to talk to you. Tell me all about this eccentric outfit.
So we are known as the Lions of Mesopotamia, Iraqi fans, okay? So I had to dress up as a lion to represent all the people. We're all lions today, and inshallah the players will be lions, and we'll get a win today.
Okay, what's with the puppet?
So the puppet is the World Cup trophy, dressed up as an Iraqi man, just chilling. Got Iraq right here. Yes, labis dishdasha, it's a gown for what men wear, and then a little headscarf. But I had it on my head right now as well.
I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, guys, can I get a chant to sign us out here?
Thank you, Beth. Thanks, everyone. Love the energy. Can't wait to watch them marching towards the stadium this afternoon. Love the creativity with that outfit there. And yes, you can probably tell it's going to be a busy day downtown with the World Cup. For more on the traffic situation, we're joined live by Susan Nguyen with the TTC. Susan, what can you tell us about traffic ahead of today's match? What do we need to know?
Good afternoon. So we've stacked extra vehicles across the GTC network today on our rails and the roads. We have lots of extra train service on lines 1 and 2. We have 5-minute frequent streetcar service as well as a dedicated shuttle bus operating from Dufferin Station to get you directly to the Toronto Stadium and FIFA Fan Festival. So right now we are expecting the FIFA fan marches to begin at this hour. So we're keeping a close eye on that, but do expect rolling delays and detours on some of our routes, including the 63 Ossington, 501 Queen, and 504 King route as they march along Strawn Avenue towards the stadium. But again, we'll be keeping a close eye on that and update our customers on our service alerts on our website. So make sure to check that before you head out the door.
And Susan, the weekend, of course, is going to be busy with Pride, World Cup, and other events. What should people be aware of when traveling around the city?
So we do have a massive transit plan in place and ready to roll out this weekend, especially to get customers to and from the parade there. So most of the festivities are happening along the Yonge side of Line 1. To get close to the action, you can head to our Bloor-Yonge, Wellesley, College, or TMU stations. That puts you a couple of minutes away from the action. And on Sunday, we'll be running extra train service on Line 1 before and after the parade as well to ensure that everyone has a smooth commute to the parade. But keep in mind that several of our surface routes will be on detour because of the road closures for all these festivities. So make sure to check our service advisories on our website to see if your route is affected, because this includes the 13th Avenue, 19 Bay, 94 Wellesley, as well as our 505 Dundas and 506 Carlton routes. And last but not least, make sure to keep an eye out for our specially wrapped Pride bus that'll be taking part in the parade. And also on Sunday, we know that Noah Kahan is playing a show at Rogers Stadium. We also got you covered there with the extra train service on Sunday that we already have for Pride. So Downsview Park Station is the closest station to the venue. And don't forget that your concert ticket also doubles as your free ride home after the show.
That is all good to know. Gosh, it's a busy weekend, but we're happy you brought us up to speed there. Susan Nguyen with Communications at TTC. Thank you so much. Now, while Canada is a host country, the national team will not be playing on home soil again this tournament.
The team's next match is in Los Angeles, but many are wondering why FIFA was unable to schedule a return to Toronto. CTV's Yasmin Gandam has the story.
Hoo-ha, Canada! Hoo-ha, Canada! The energy electric in Vancouver leading up to Canada's game at BC Place on Wednesday. Despite losing to the Swiss, the team has advanced to knockout round for the first time in World Cup history. But now the journey shifts away from home soil and down to California.
The U.S. plays all of their games in the U.S. They don't have to leave the U.S. at any point in time. So, not the best.
This is a great atmosphere down in Vancouver, and when it's your own team playing, it's even better. But, and I don't really like that it's in L.A.
Fans disappointed by the decision. Had Canada come away with a win or draw in their final group stage match, the team would have played at BC Place in Vancouver instead.
It doesn't make sense that the group winner from our group was going to play in Vancouver, and in Toronto they're going to have another game. It would have been easy for them to schedule the second place from our group to go back to Toronto.
TSN analyst Christian Jack also expressed his frustrations on the One Soccer show for the win.
You're either a co-host or you're not.
He says FIFA could have easily avoided this situation.
If you are a co-host and you are having 2 games in the last 32, it could have easily been organised where Canada may have had to go to Toronto if it wasn't Vancouver.
When Premier David Eby was asked about the decision at an unrelated press conference Wednesday, he echoed the frustration from fans.
There was just no way to predict which direction Canada would be going in terms of the groups, who would be coming out of the other groups. And so that is all determined well in advance. There was a window that we were enabled that Canada could have stayed here had the game turned out the way that we wished yesterday.
Still, tickets for the match in Los Angeles sold out in less than half an hour. If Canada defeats South Africa, it will advance to the round of 16 game in Houston on July 4th. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Vancouver.
Here in Toronto, let's take a moment to have a live look at our city skyline. There's some sun out there, but definitely some clouds in the mix as we head into the weekend. And weather-wise, it's not looking like anything will rain on our parade. There are some nice conditions on tap. Lindsay Morrison is here with all the details. I think some might think it's a little cool to start the day, but there's heat coming.
And you know what, Michelle, already right now today we are warmer than we got at any point yesterday. So things are looking up and temperatures are going to go up big time as we make our way into next week. But here's right now, still quite a bit of cloudiness out there in most parts of the GTA, but it's dry. We're not seeing any rain at this time. There's the chance of a pop-up shower for this afternoon. Winds are pretty light out there, and that's part of the reason why the cloud and some fog has been sticking around in places. 20 degrees right now feels like 24 at Pearson Airport. Here's today at a glance, 25 degrees, humidex 30 at the height of the day. Still a northwesterly wind, and we are going to eventually see this cloud cover clear out for the weekend. We are also talking humidex values near 40 for next week. So that's all ahead in your 7-day forecast. But for now, Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, by now you know it's a busy weekend in the city. A number of events that we've mentioned, including the annual Pride Parade and all those World Cup watch parties.
Toronto Police gave an update this morning on their plan to keep people safe over the weekend. CP24 Steve Ryan joins us with more on what police are doing. Steve.
Well, there will be a significant police presence in and around the village this coming weekend, Nathan and Michelle. We did hear from police earlier on today. As of right now, Church Street is closed north to Bloor and south to Wellesley Street, open to pedestrian traffic only. Now, during this media release today, or media conference rather, the police did talk about how to keep yourself safe in amongst a large group of crowds. Any time that there is a large gathering, police remind people to be aware of your surroundings and watch for your wallet, your phone, and your valuables, because there are those that will slip into crowds just to cause that criminality, if you will, and police are warning people against that. Earlier on, we heard from Toronto Police with regards to Pride, and we heard about next week's Canada Day celebrations as well. And here's 2 comments. Let's listen to both.
Please keep an eye on your belongings. Pickpocketing, especially cell phone theft, is very common during large events and in large crowds. A moment of distraction is all it takes to separate you from your valuables. Please keep your valuables safe in your front pocket or a zippered pouch. Only bring valuables that you need to the events.
Canada Day is one of the busiest days of the year along Toronto's waterfront. We expect large crowds throughout the day and evening, particularly for the City of Toronto's fireworks display at Ashbridges Bay. We've been working closely with our city partners and emergency services across the city. We are prepared for a safe and enjoyable Canada Day. The public can expect to see a significant police presence in the area, including officers on foot, bicycles, ATVs, and horseback. We also have members of our public order units to assist us with public safety.
So police are reminding people, if you are coming down here near the village tonight or throughout the weekend, leave the cars at home and take the TTC. They say that is the better way, and it's a good suggestion as well. Again, Church Street being closed, north to Bloor, south to Wellesley Street. Not much parking down here, so TTC is probably the best bet. So back to you guys.
All right, good advice. CP24 Steve Ryan, thank you. We return to our top story, the World Cup match between Iraq and Senegal today. We're joined live by CTV's Adrian Gabriel at Toronto Stadium. I know it doesn't matter now, Adrian, but is there a favorite in this match coming up?
It's definitely got to be Senegal. They are one of the top African sides. They're ranked 15th in the world, and they've had a disappointing World Cup so far. You know, they're in somewhat of a group of death. They lost against France, who are probably the favorites to win the World Cup. They lost against Erling Haaland and Norway, and so Senegal is going to need to score a boatload of goals today against Iraq to squeak through and make it into that round of 16. Senegal is the reigning African Cup champions. They won 1-0 over Morocco. They ended up actually having that championship stripped because they protested a free kick during that final game, but technically they did win the African Cup. On the flip side, you've got Iraq. They're about 57th ranked in the world. They have not won during this World Cup yet, but it's going to be, you know, an electric atmosphere here in the stadium for Iraq. It's been 40 years since they have been in the World Cup, and I was speaking with fans. Hundreds of them were streaming off of the GO train. They're heading towards a march at Stanley Park in downtown Toronto. That's where thousands are expected to gather and do their march towards the match. You know, many of them said that they're here today to celebrate the game, the sport, to celebrate their country, and the perseverance that their country has shown over the last number of decades. Win, lose, or draw, the fans from Iraq today will be celebrating. And Ontario is home to the largest number of Iraqi Canadians in the country, roughly 65,000. Many of them expected to be here at Toronto Stadium today.
Yes, Adrian, we saw them earlier at Stanley Park, talking to our Beth McDonnell. You could just feel the energy. It's going to be so amazing there in the stadium. Talk to us about the special meaning for supporters of the Iraqi squad.
Yeah, you know, it really, this is a testament to perseverance of a nation, perseverance of a team. Think about the resources that a team like Iraq might have, considering the current situation over the last number of years and decades into their country. And so to be here on the world stage, and for these fans, these Iraqi Canadians and Iraqis who are traveling from other parts of the world as well, to be here today, Michelle, they've been waiting for decades for this. And so they are coming. They're going to be loud. They're going to be celebrating. And it's going to be a beautiful sight to witness.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the turnout. CTV's Adrian Gabriel at Toronto Stadium. Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. Well, just as Toronto Pride festivities ramp up in our city as well, organizers are warning the event is staring down some serious financial challenges going forward. Pride Toronto revealed this week it's dealing with a $700,000 deficit despite cutting programming and reducing staff. The organization linked the challenges to rising costs, security high among them, along with a more challenging sponsorship environment. Last year, Executive Director Kojo Modeste linked a plunge in corporate funding to new U.S. policies targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion.
If we do not see some significant increase in financial support, we will not be able to continue to provide the level of pride that we normally do here in the city of Toronto. So those are conversations that I've already started having with the board and with community for 2027.
Modeste said government funding has been relatively stable. The Provincial Tourism, Culture and Gaming Ministry said Toronto Pride and Capital Pride have both been approved for maximum eligible funding, and it continuously works with all partners, including Pride organizations such as Pride Toronto, to support community events across the province. This year's Pride theme is We Won't Stop, and you can check out the full festival weekend schedule at pridetoronto.com.
York Regional Police are investigating 2 early morning shootings and whether they may be connected. Police say shots were fired at a home and a parked vehicle near Wellington and McDonald Drive in Aurora at around 3:40 in the morning. No injuries have been reported, and there's no suspect information. Meanwhile, shots were fired at another home near Lee Avenue and Kennedy Road in Markham around 1:45 this morning. Nobody was injured, but damage could be seen on one of the home's windows. Police are urging anyone with details to come forward.
Peel Regional Police have arrested 4 people in connection with a fatal shooting in Mississauga back in 2023. 29-year-old Bryan Lara-Alvarez was shot and killed March 20th in the area of Dreamcrest Road and Alicante Street. Now, Shamba Toll of Toronto and Shamar Osborne of Wasaga Beach, who are both 22 years old, are charged with first-degree murder in Lara-Alvarez's death. Meanwhile, Talene Farquharson Miller and Ahmed Hassan, who are both 23 years old from Toronto, are facing several gun-related charges in connection with this investigation. Police say all 4 suspects remain in custody pending bail hearings.
4 people have been injured in a major crash in Rexdale early this morning. Emergency crews were called to the Rexdale Boulevard and Queens Play Drive area just after 2 in the morning. 3 people were taken to a trauma center with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. A 4th person suffered minor injuries. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. And 1 person was taken to hospital following a crash in the West End. This one happened just before 12:30 in the morning near Bloor and Ossington. 2 vehicles were involved, with one colliding with a pole. A woman was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The cause of this crash is still under investigation.
The Toronto Public Library announced its first ever branch on the city's waterfront. The library shared these renderings of the future location slated to be part of Quayside community under development along the eastern waterfront. Officials say it's been more than 10 years since a new branch was announced, so this is a big moment for the city.
While a typical library branch can take up to 5 to 10 years to plan and develop, we've worked together with the expedited Quayside development timeline so that this new library branch can be integrated into the community immediately, welcoming residents in our existing communities of the East Waterfront, the Distillery and St. Lawrence, and Quayside itself in the coming years.
Thousands of people are going to be making this area their home. Families, seniors, newcomers, longtime Torontonians, and when they arrive, we want them to find more than an address. We want them to find a community. That's what a library does. It's not just a building with books, though we do love our books. It's about building a community, a complete community, and a library is the ultimate community hub.
Community consultations in the Quayside Library are slated to start in 2028. Officials are also planning a future library branch on Ukwemin-Minising, the new island in the eastern waterfront.
The CN Tower is celebrating its 50th birthday today. This is a live look at the iconic landmark, which opened on June 26, 1976. At the time, it was the world's largest self-supporting structure, make that tallest, at just over 553 meters. A 50th birthday party is being held on the patio at the base of the party. It began at 11:30 and is set to run until 4:30 this afternoon. It features games, music, and a giveaway of 553 cupcakes. Now, 1 for each meter of the tower. At the end of the day, there will also be a light show to celebrate the occasion.
Still to come on CTV News at noon, Ottawa launching a design and build competition to rehabilitate 24 Sussex Drive. We'll have those details a little later in the newscast.
But first, a new poll shows the Ontario PC Party leading their opposition despite the recent controversy around the government's purchase and subsequent sale of a private jet. The Abacus data survey conducted on behalf of the Toronto Star shows Premier Doug Ford's PC Party with 41% support among committed voters. The Liberals are second at 32%, while the NDP is at 19%, and the Greens have 5% support. Meanwhile, the same survey found 7 out of 10 respondents want to see a change in government.
The Prime Minister provided an update on the future of 24 Sussex Drive this morning. CTV's Jeremy Charon joins us live now from Ottawa with the latest on the Prime Minister's official residence. And Jeremy, it's widely known it needs some upgrades. It needs lots of work. Now the government launching a design and build competition. What more can you tell us about this?
Yeah, Michelle, a long-anticipated decision here. 2015 was the last time Prime Minister actually lived in 24 Sussex. It was former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. When former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took office, he chose to stay in the Rideau Cottage, and then that's when things kind of went downhill. And we've seen over the last several years, work had to be done to take care of rodents, asbestos, mold in the building. It is basically stripped down to the studs right now. And no Prime Minister has wanted to make a decision on the future of 24 Sussex. Now, Prime Minister Carney has done so, and we know that there will be a competition to design and build what the next, building at 24 Sussex will look like. It'll be a rehabilitation, if you will, or a renovation, if you will. Perhaps could include part of the existing structure, perhaps new structures. That will all be part of the design process and the application that companies will be able to make to try and win the bid to design and build the project. We don't have a price tag. We don't know, exactly how much it will cost. There have been estimates in the past on how much it could cost to renovate the building, anywhere from tens of millions to about $100 million. And then the other aspect here is there's going to be a fundraiser running at the same time. The Rideau Hall Foundation will fundraise to pay for some of, or maybe the full project. The Prime Minister says in speaking with Canadians across the country, there was an interest in being able to help support this project, and so that's how we've landed where we are today. Here's more from Prime Minister Carney today.
So we're turning to the country's most innovative architects, designers, and builders for solutions to find the most ambitious, exciting, and affordable solutions. The winning proposal will be announced by Canada Day next year.
Now, involved in the planning process in the lead up to today's announcement, two former prime ministers, Stephen Harper and Jean Chrétien, so two prime ministers from two different political parties. The prime minister was clear today he felt it was important to have cross-partisan support here. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre asked yesterday about his thoughts on renovating 24 Sussex. Here's what he had to say.
I really don't think about it at all. I just think when I go around this country and I meet so many people who can't afford a place to live, when I see the homelessness on our streets and I see the young people who are desperate to start families but can't get a house to do it, I just think the last thing on our minds should be 24 Sussex Drive.
Still waiting for a lot of details on what kind of criteria will be required for companies applying, price tags, timelines. The one thing we do know, Michelle, is that Canada Day next year, Canada Day 2027, the federal government will announce the winning bid for that design and build project of 24 Sussex.
CTV Jeremy Charon live for us in Ottawa. Thank you.
Anytime.
The death toll in Venezuela following two massive earthquakes has risen to 589, with more than 3,000 people injured. CTV's Renee Rogers joins us live now with more on the aftermath of the deadly quakes. Renee, what's the latest on the recovery efforts on the ground?
Hi, Nathan. Well, families in Venezuela spent a second night sheltering in open spaces for fear of further collapse. And as you mentioned, today we learned from acting President Delcy Rodriguez, 589 people have died, close to 3,000 injured, and the death toll is only expected to rise because thousands of people are still reported missing. An estimated 6.76 million people are affected by these two quakes. One of them is 7.2 magnitude and another 7.5 magnitude, among the strongest to hit Venezuela in the past century. The state of La Guaira, which is north of the capital of Caracas, has been hit the hardest. Hundreds of buildings have collapsed, entire city blocks flattened, and some 1,000 rescue personnel are being deployed from across the globe to help dig through the wreckage to search for people who are trapped. But it is now coming up, Nathan, on 40 hours since the quake first hit, and time is of the essence to find the people who are trapped. Experts say that after 48 to 72 hours, the chances of survival for them without a water source are rapidly diminished. And by the way, Nathan, Global Affairs Canada says that there are about 740 Canadians registered in Venezuela. However, it is not aware of any who are affected by the quakes.
Of course, there's urgency. Many countries, including Canada, are sending aid there. What are we learning on that front?
You're right. Amid all of this urgency, many countries are stepping up, including Canada, which is sending an initial $5 million to help out with rescue efforts. The U.S. is sending $150 million, as well as rescue crews on the ground. Save the Children and UNICEF, both of those organizations have teams on the ground, and we know that UNICEF is sending a flight with 48 metric tons of medical equipment and other supplies to help children and their families. Now, the UN, in addition to coordinating rescue crews, is also helping in an indirect way. After the quakes, it called on the government of Venezuela to restore access to social media for Venezuelans. That has been cut off ever since 2024 under President Nicolas Maduro. Well, after the UN made that call, Venezuela has now provided some limited access to the social media platform X. And for these people, what it means is now they could have access to information that could potentially be life-saving for them, but also it means that they've been able to get in contact with their loved ones. We know that the quakes interrupted phone service in the country, and many Venezuelans abroad who have family, loved ones in the country have been waiting for any possible answers they can get. Now, this limited access to social media is helping to facilitate some contact between Venezuelans and loved ones abroad.
I'm sure that'll help a little bit. CTV's Renee Rogers in the CTV National Newsroom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In the U.S., former National Security Advisor John Bolton pleaded guilty today to illegally retaining classified information. His plea seals a deal with federal prosecutors that could allow him to avoid prison. Bolton faces a maximum sentence of up to 5 years. FBI agents searched his Maryland home and Washington office last August. He was charged with 18 counts of either retaining or disseminating classified info. Bolton has agreed to $2.25 million. He became an outspoken critic of U.S. President Donald Trump after serving in the Republicans' first administration. He will be sentenced October 28th.
Shiite Muslims around the world are marking Ashura, a day of deep religious and historical significance. Thousands of pilgrims arrived in the Iraqi city of Karbala to commemorate the martyrdom of Imam Hussein at the battle there in 680 A.D. He was the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad. People gathered around shrines performing traditional morning rituals on the holiest day on the Shiite calendar. Ashura symbolizes resistance against tyranny and injustice.
Marilyn Dennis signed off from CHUM 104.5 FM's morning show for the final time this morning. She spoke about the feeling immediately after the broadcast.
Today's the day that I signed with CHUM 40 years ago, June 26, 1986, and now I leave on the same date. And I'm so much of my life has gone over the last 40 years. But I look back at it and I think, oh, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky I get to say goodbye. And it was so much fun.
In February, Dennis announced she was stepping away from her hosting role at the station. She has received numerous awards over the course of her epic broadcasting career, including being appointed to the Order of Ontario in 2024. Thank you for all the years of sharing your talent. Marilyn, we wish you all the best in the next chapter. Lindsay.
Yes, we're going to miss hearing her on the radio. Today is a big match game happening at Toronto Stadium as we've been discussing Iraq versus Senegal. Here's a look at what you can expect weather-wise around 3 p.m. today. 24 degrees is likely to feel more like 28, so a bit humid out there and a mostly cloudy sky. Very similar conditions, of course. If you're heading out to any watch parties this afternoon, be it at FIFA Fan Fest or elsewhere, stay hydrated because we're going to start to feel some heat over the next few days here. And perhaps you're making a journey to Los Angeles for Canada's match on Sunday. Here's a look at the weather conditions there. Not quite as humid as it's going to be here in southern Ontario. Coming up, we're going to talk about it feeling like 40 as we welcome July and celebrate Canada Day. That's after this break here on CTV News at noon. Stay with us.
Let's check in with CTV's Beth McDonnell. She's on the move, I hear. Beth, following Iraq supporters marching to Toronto Stadium ahead of the big match with Senegal this afternoon. What's happening now?
Michelle, we're about halfway to Toronto Stadium where Iraq cheering, you name it. I was just talking to our wonderful camera photojournalist, Pat, who was saying he's done 4 of these, and he says this one is the loudest by far. He doesn't know but it's definitely been the loudest, and so we have been navigating that. This is really a do-or-die match between Iraq and Senegal that's coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Both these teams played France and Norway, and both lost, and now they're going to play each other, so they're going to be trying to get as many goals as possible, and definitely the Iraq fans here definitely want to see a win. How are you doing, sir?
Very happy. I come from Belgium to Toronto to special. This is very special day. I am very happy. Thank you, Canada. Thank you everybody.
What do you make of the energy, the atmosphere? Why did you want to be here today?
أنا فرحانة اليوم كوني أنا عراقية وفخورة أنا عراقية وشكرا للمنتخب العراقي.
Yasser Luis from Phoenix, Arizona. Let's go Iraq.
Where are you from?
From Michigan.
Okay, wow. Who are you from?
We're from Mississauga, Canada. We support Canada. We support Iraq. Hopefully they make it to the World Cup. You know, we're almost there. 32. Please, just get us a win. We got this. We got this.
It's been 40 years.
It's been 40 years, 40 long time. We got this. You know, it's been a long time coming. We have a huge supporters. All Iraqis in here. Let's go, Iraqis!
And so we're making our way here. It's a great atmosphere, and I'm enjoying it. It's definitely something to experience. Michelle and Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. You know, one of the best parts of the World Cup is watching the fans just head to the stadium and seeing them dressed up in their colors and making all the noise and the chants. It's just great to see.
I love that tradition. I mean, by the time you get to the game, you're so pumped up. That entire street was flooded, and the view from the chopper, it's just incredible. And did you notice most of the people she talked to there had come in from out of town, from all over the world, so it's not just local people. Really, it's just an amazing opportunity for our city because people are coming to Toronto, people who maybe wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, I really noticed that the other night, too, when we were all down there for Panama versus Croatia. So many international visitors, and it's so great. Toronto is really the best city, in my opinion, for hosting the World Cup because we also have so many local fans from other countries cheering these teams on. It's been spectacular. The weather is pretty good today. We'll begin by letting you know that weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. And today, this afternoon, it is all eyes on Toronto Stadium. This is our view from Hotel X. Bit of cloud in the mix today, some low-level cloud as well. There's been fog in places this morning. We'll see if some of this can clear up by kickoff this afternoon at 3 p.m. It's going to be an exciting one. Another exciting day in our city. Here's a look at what that cloud looks like from outer space on the satellite and radar. It's dry right now, so there is that. There's the threat of a quick passing shower in places this afternoon. But again, you're more likely to find wet weather closer to the border with Quebec. And of course, in Quebec, it is an unsettled day today, courtesy of the same low that brought us some showers and some thunderstorms yesterday and overnight last night. Here's a look at what we're expecting condition-wise through the afternoon. There's 3 p.m. Again, slight chance of a shower, but I do think most areas will be dry. And that cloud cover continues to clear as we make our way through the evening. Tomorrow is a mainly sunny day. Sunday is looking just as great. Get outside, enjoy, and temperatures are going to be warmer than they've been the last day or so, but not as hot as they will be into next week. So seasonal highs expected for both your Saturday and Sunday. We're at 20 degrees right now. It's actually quite comfortable out there, although it does feel closer to 24 once you take the humidity into consideration. Later this afternoon, it is likely to feel more like 30. And that could feel cool compared to what's coming again over the next 7 days. Our almanac, just want to point out that 26 degrees is the seasonal norm. Tonight, we are also average with a forecast low of 16 degrees. Great looking weekend for all the Pride festivities that are going to be happening tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, of course, culminating with the big parade on Sunday afternoon. Have the bottles of water handy because it is going to be hot but not scorching. We become much more humid through the early days of next week. 32 degrees on Tuesday, 34 for Wednesday and Thursday, feeling into the 40s the 2 of those days. That's the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. We've got more news after the break. There's a shot of the CN Tower celebrating its 50th birthday. Stay with us. The NHL draft begins tonight, and the Maple Leafs will be making the first selection. The team's expected to select forward Gavin McKenna with the first overall pick. The 18-year-old from Whitehorse put up 51 points in 35 games for Penn State this past season. The last time the Leafs had the first pick was back in 2016 when they drafted Austin Matthews.
There are still some that do believe that Toronto could shock the world and not take Gavin McKenna. I'm not one of those. So, but look, the top 5 in the draft, the top 6 players in the draft, I don't think you can go wrong with it all. But to me, when you have somebody like a Gavin McKenna, who is just so skillful, Stenberg's skillful, Chase Reed, Caleb Malhotra, they're all skillful. But there's something about Gavin McKenna for me.
And stay tuned to CTV Toronto tonight. We'll have live coverage from the NHL draft from Buffalo.
The Blue Jays will be looking to snap a 3-game losing skid when they continue their series with the Texas Rangers tonight.
Driven to center field and deep. And it is gone.
Kazuma Okamoto's 18th homer of the season cut the Rangers' lead to a single run last night, but the team could not complete the comeback, losing the game 6-5. Lefty Patrick Corbin is set to start for Toronto tonight. First pitch due at 7:07 p.m. at Rogers Centre.
Still to come, Drake is throwing an apology party for anyone named Janice this weekend. We'll have those details when we come back.
Drake released his latest album, Iceman, last month, which featured a hit single that had some unkind words for anyone named Janice.
Now, the rapper is set to host an apology party for all the Janices of the world this weekend. Sam East, host with 99.9 Virgin Radio, joins us live for our regular segment, Chronically Online. Sam, this sounds interesting. Is this for real?
This is for real. It's so real, Nathan and Michelle, that people are joking or maybe even serious that they may legally change their name to Janice. Now, the song in question is Janice, followed by some expletives that I will not repeat here. We do play the clean version on Virgin Radio. Some maybe unkind, unsavory things said about Janices of the world. And so as an apology, perhaps a love letter to Janices, you're invited to come out to the Cactus Club this Sunday in Toronto. Now, you will need a government ID to prove that your legal name is indeed Janice. So, Nathan, I don't know if you're thinking about switching up, but you got to act fast for Sunday.
I do know a Janice. Maybe I'll tell her to go.
Yeah.
You should. This is like a party of a lifetime here.
Just have her go so she can send us pictures and
get
tell
some
us how it
details.
goes. Yeah.
We need an insider.
It makes you, but you got to give it to Drake for trying to make good on this, because you don't want the name Janice to go the way that, the name Karen has gone.
Yes, that I think is the thought. And man, we got to give kudos to Drake's marketing team, because between the Iceman stunts and now this, they're working overtime.
Okay, well, Drake likes the Raptors, and there's rumors swirling around the Raps and a potential reunion with none other than Kawhi Leonard. We great debt of gratitude to him for that championship and the rest of the team. What are you hearing about Kawhi potentially returning?
Well, there's lots of rumblings right now, lots of people chattering on social media, of course, that he is considering maybe being traded to the Raptors. Now, this is a big maybe. It seems like the Clippers really want to keep him. And a lot of people are kind of weighing in and saying, oh, he's just using this as leverage so he can get the best possible deal. And that all may be true. However, he has said the only 2 other teams he would consider switching for would be the San Antonio Spurs and the Toronto Raptors. And I think as delusional Toronto sports fans, we are all gunning for this. Kawhi, we will bring back Kawhi and Dine again. We will do what it takes to relive the magic of the 2019 series.
It's almost a trigger to go through that again. If this does happen, it better finish on the right note, and he ends up here, right?
I know, it's a big tease for us, isn't it, Nathan?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it's worth it, I think. He's a great player.
Absolutely. If it turns out that way, of course, social media will erupt over this. But in the meantime, it's a lot of hearsay. It's a lot of speculation. We wait with bated breath.
All right. Thanks so much, Sam. Remember, you can hear Sam East weekdays from 2 to 5 on 99.9 Virgin Radio. Take care.
Take care.
Well, Toy Story 5 is expected to hold on to the top spot at the weekend box office.
Bonnie needs help from someone at least from the same century. So long, toys.
Deadline's box office forecast suggests the Disney Pixar sequel is on track for $90 million U.S. across North America in its second weekend. That will be more than enough to take the wind out of the sails of Supergirl, which is flying into a second-place debut with ticket sales between $40 to $50 million. Another new entry this weekend is Jackass Best and Last, billed as a farewell to the slapstick gross-out comedy franchise.
RBC has been fined $4.25 million for a violation of the Bank Act. The Financial Consumer Agency of Canada says RBC failed to transfer credits from deactivated credit card accounts to customers' new accounts. The agency says as a result, some customers received inaccurate monthly credit card statements and some were given additional charges. Between 2001 and 2024, more than 227,000 accounts were affected here. Aside from that fine, RBC says it transferred and refunded $22.4 million, and it made a charitable donation of $299,000 for customers that could not be located.
Coming up, taking a trip to the past, a popular historic site in Waterloo region will be opening on Canada Day after a 3-year closure. We'll have those details when we come back.
A popular historic site in Waterloo region is reopening after a 3-year closure for repairs and upgrades.
CTV's Krista Simpson got a first-hand look at what's new at Doon Heritage Village.
It's a step back in time to 1914 Berlin, as Kitchener was then called. Doon Heritage Village is ready to reopen to the public.
It is very, very exciting.
After 3 years of improvements and community consultation, and with the ring of the cowbell, the site returns with a new tagline, One Village, Many Stories, signifying an effort to expand what's featured. The second floor of Martin House now includes an exhibit weaving together the life of Mennonites and the stories of Black families who came to the same area decades later.
It was my family story, going from Jamaica to England to Waterloo region in the 60s and sort of thriving here as we have.
The exhibit features photos taken by Aaron T. Francis's grandfather and other items.
There's so much in common. The quilts, the clothing, the dresses, and you'll see in the photos.
His exhibit is an opportunity to have a dialogue between different communities and looking at more so the parallels and the similarities that exist among the families that call Waterloo region home.
Other changes to the village include new signs to help guide visitors through the 60-acre property and improved accessibility features, replacing old ramps at the back of buildings with fresh new ones.
All the ramps now lead to the front door. Everybody enters the building through the same door and has the same experience, which is a little more welcoming for everyone.
There are also new planter boxes, bringing the gardens closer to everyone. And for visitors who may find areas like the noisy blacksmith shop overwhelming, the museum now offers backpacks with items inside that might help.
Having hearing protection and maybe the sunglasses might help people feel a little calmer and more relaxed in the space and would allow school kids in particular to still enjoy the school program.
Still, amid the changes, the site is staying true to the classic experiences and nostalgia the village holds for so many, immersing visitors into life in the summer of 1914.
It was such a pivotal year in Canadian history, and all the changes of industrialization were coming. The First World War was about to break out. It was a very interesting time in Canada.
The village will formally reopen with a free public event on Canada Day, July 1st. The village will remain open for the season 7 days a week until September 6th. Krista Simpson, CTV News, Kitchener.
Have you been to Doon Village? I've never been there.
No, but I love those little kind of walk back in time. And something they didn't have back then was air conditioning. And I think as we head towards next week, you're going to need it.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be firing on all cylinders, the AC units, and for good reason. It's going to feel like 40 as we say goodbye to June and hello to July. But before we get there, here's one more look at the satellite and radar. And really, it's just the satellite we're watching here because it's dry out there and cloud cover is starting to break up. So that's great news for our afternoon and evening. There's the overnight, mainly clear sky, 16 for the low, which is bang on seasonal. The weekend is looking great. 24 degrees tomorrow is likely to feel more like 27. If you're headed to the cottage or a campground, here's a look at what you can expect tonight. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it says there, but we do mean Saturday and Sunday. And then your 7-day forecast is shaping up to look like this. So the heat really building for the early days of next week. All eyes on Canada Day, which is Wednesday. Forecast high that day, 34 degrees, but feeling closer to 40. Chance of a few showers, but at this point, it's not looking like anything that will disrupt your firework plans. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Good to know. Thanks, Lindsay. And that is it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.